Hi. We're going to just quickly go over the exam, what I expect from the exam in terms of your responses, and go over each of the questions just quickly today. The first thing that I want to call your attention to, seeing as how we're at the first midterm for this course, which is due the 31st of this month, by noon, I'd like to call your attention to the course syllabus and the note about the examination. I'll start out by just reading it and then I'll say a few words about it. This course is divided into 3 sections containing 2 philosophers each. Each midterm examination and the final examination for this course will test the section we are working on only. That is, it will not be comprehensive. So this first section will treat both Socrates and Aristotle. And then we're done with Socrates and Aristotle. Each exam will consist of 3 longer answer questions related to each particular philosopher for a total of 6 questions. So you can see what I've posted on Moodle fits that bill. These questions will be designed to test both reading comprehension and a more general understanding of the ideas that we have studied. These questions will often require students to take a critical stance towards the material and will reflect both text material and class discussions via YouTube and the discussion board as well. Now, the important note I put here, and I can't stress this enough, this is here because every semester I have some problems with it just in terms of the scope of your answer. Please note that these consist of longer answer questions. As such, a minimum of 2 paragraphs of discussion, argument, reflection, exegesis are expected for each response to be considered sufficient. Every semester, I get 1 or 2 sentence responses to these questions, right? And no matter how run-on or how sort of perfect the 1 or 2 sentences are, each of these questions are worth 5% of your final grade, right? So they have to reflect the weight that's given to them. The midterm and the final examinations will be posted on Moodle a minimum of 5 days before the due dates indicated below. The first of those is January 31st, and you'll find the exam already posted, so you've got over a week. Well, about a week from today, actually. No late assignments will be accepted, and that note should be sort of taken with the missed exam policy. If you have absolutely some sort of disaster, please let me know before the exam date or within, 12 hours of the due date in question. Right? Some sort of serious illness in your family or in you, that sort of thing. So, on to the exam. I've got a blurb here right at the beginning in which I tell you to answer each of the questions to the best of your ability. Take some time to think about and break down what the questions are asking you, because frequently I ask you to do sort of more than one thing in each of these questions. I'm not trying to fool you with this stuff, but nonetheless, the language I use is rather particular because I'm looking for something particular. So it's that in philosopher speak tries to direct you towards a very particular response to these questions. So be sure to read them carefully, and please note there's this note on the exam that I encourage you to form study groups, but when you submit your responses, they should reflect your own work. I'm sure some of you are taking this course with a buddy, so if you and your buddy work together in studying for this exam, or if you've met somebody over the course and have decided to trade information with them, if you're instant messaging one another about your responses, be sure that your response is a unique academic work of art when it's submitted. I only mention that because I've had problems where I've graded one final exam closed the file, and the next final exam still had the name from the previous final exam in the upper right-hand corner, and it was word for word the same. It's I have to assess an individual grade for this course, so if you're working together, make sure your answers are distinct from one another. So, 3 Socrates questions, 3 Aristotle questions, and hopefully there should be no major surprises here. I tried to pick central questions with regard to each. Now the first, both Socrates and Plato, for your purposes just Socrates, is in an intellectual climate in which he has to meet the contradiction between Heraclitus and Parmenides' positions. Right? This is from the preface video. Remember, both of them argued themselves to a point of contradiction, which left ancient Greece in sort of a period of skepticism, opening the door for the sophists. Now, Socrates, he needs to overcome this in order to first off demonstrate that he's not a sophist, and secondly demonstrate that he's not just ignoring the contradiction between Heraclitus and Parmenides. You were to discuss how Socrates' position is able to overcome this contradiction between Heraclitus and Parmenides. So actually I'm asking you to do sort of 4 things with that question. Explain a little bit of Heraclitus, explain a little bit of Parmenides, not too much, just enough to get sort of the contradiction between the 2 positions, lay out Socrates' position, and then show how Socrates overcomes the contradiction. There goes my printer. That's what you're doing for the first question. Second, based on the video lectures, or discussed on the video lectures, was a conception of Socrates' ethical position stemming from the nature of his wisdom. Now that's a key phrase, stemming from the nature of his wisdom, which we discussed in terms of either intellectual integrity or critical authenticity. Briefly explain this conception. So discuss Socrates' ethical position, and this is one that I find really interesting. Right? So it's based on the nature of his wisdom. So ask yourself, why is Socrates the wisest man in Athens? Now, third, Socrates discusses the social purpose of his position, comparing himself to the gadfly. So, I'm going to ask you 2 things in this question. Discuss this argument, right? So, lay out in about a paragraph the gadfly argument, what Socrates up to. Right? Define what a gadfly is, show how Socrates considers himself kind of like a gadfly, etc. And why Socrates would find this element of moral reasoning absolutely essential for a functioning democracy. So why is Socrates' position the position that he's arguing here, picked up by somebody like Jefferson, for example? Right? And I know you're not asked to engage with Jefferson here, but nonetheless, it's sort of a proto-argument which leads to free speech and a free press being essential aspects of a functioning democracy, and we find those at work in our own system as well. Now, just getting into Plato here, I'm forgetting what class I'm teaching, Aristotle here. Question number 4 asks you to present in your own words the function argument and discuss its purpose in the context of Aristotle's position. So again, 2 things that you're doing. What's the function argument? Of all things that have a function, the good for blah blah blah, etc., etc. So lay out the function argument. All right, examples are good here. All right, but be sure to make that theoretical leap to Aristotle's more general assertions from his particular examples of functions. The second part of this question, discuss its purpose in the larger context of Aristotle's position. Now, the function argument for Aristotle serves as sort of a linchpin. It's how he's able to claim all of the other ethical things that he's able to claim, right? And by my count, it does at least 3 things. So, think that through. And we should keep in mind with Aristotle too that he at the beginning of book 1 tells us to require only a level of precision appropriate to the discipline in question. And horseshoes, hand grenades, and philosophy, I'll be doing that when I grade your assignments as well.